Hello everyone. So today we are going to see level 2 cache in the Hibernate example. So level 2 cache is also known as session factory cache, global cache, second level cache, and it is one per each session factory object. That is, we can say that one per each database software. So if you want to reduce the hitting to the database every time, if you want to save data from the different session again and again, then we'll use this level 2 cache. So we'll use here ehcache. So vendors offering second level cache for the Hibernate. There are many vendors are there. In this example, we'll use ehcache. Then while configuring the second level cache, we must specify the caching strategy. So there are 4 caching strategy. First one is read only, then next one is non-stick read write, then third one is read write, and fourth one is transactional. So read only means caching will only work for the read only. Then non-stick read write means caching will only work for the read and write, but one at a time. Read and write means caching will work for read and write can be used simultaneously, and transactional means caching will work for the transaction. Then in the annotation driven configuration, how can we specify caching strategy? By this. And in the XML driven configuration, you can uh, specify strategy by using this cache tag. Then also we have to enable second level cache in the Hibernate configuration, hibernate.configuration.xml file, by using this. So let's see the example for this. So here I am using Eclipse ID. Go to the file, go to the new. Here we have to create one new Maven project. So go to the Maven project. Then next thing we have to click on next, then catalog choose as internal, then filter you have to type here quick start, then I will choose here quick start. Here you have to give artifact ID means project name, so second level cache I will give here, and I will take a package as com.test, then click on finish. Then here we will require some dependencies, that is Hibernate core dependency and Hibernate ehcache dependency, Apache Maven compiler plugin, also Lombok. Here I will be using Lombok, and MySQL. As we are using MySQL driver, so we will require this MySQL connector. So now let's go to the second level cache. This is our project. So we have to add the dependency. Go to the pom.xml. First thing I will do is I will add a Hibernate core dependency. So let's copy this and go to the pom.xml, and below JUnit we have to paste here. So Control Shift F for format. Hibernate core dependency is added, and the next thing is Hibernate ehcache. So let's copy this, go to here, and below Hibernate I will paste this. Then next I am using a Lombok, so I will add this, Control C, and you will find the link of this all the dependency in the description. From there you can find this. So MySQL driver, so MySQL connector J dependency we have to add also. So paste here, Control Shift F for formatting. So these 4 dependency we have added, and last is Maven compiler plugin. So we have to add this, copy this, and go to the pom.xml, and below properties, in the side properties you have to paste, Control save. I will take here as 1.9 version. And after that, adding the all dependency, right click on this our project, and next thing is what you have to do is go to the Maven and update project. We have to paste and ensure. So you can see the Java version is coming here 9. Next thing what you have to do is right click on this here, right click on this src main Java, go to the new, go to the others, and here we have to search for XML file. Here we can see XML file is coming, and here we have to give the name hibernate.cfg.xml and enter. Let's save this, hibernate.configuration.xml, and I have already here copied the content. So let me copy this. So go to here, and below XML we have to paste, Control Shift F for formatting. Let's save this. Now here we can see this is a JDBC URL for MySQL, JDBC colon MySQL colon localhost 3306. New is the schema name. I already created a schema in a MySQL workbench. Here we go. Here is the schema name. You can also create schema by clicking on here, create a new schema in the connected server. That schema name you have to specify here, and 3306 is the port number of MySQL. Then you have to give the username and password of database. Then show SQL, format SQL. Show SQL if you want to see the whatever SQL query internally executed by Hibernate and you want to formatted manner you want to see on the console, then you have to give these two. The next one is hbm to ddl.ito. So here we are giving update. That means it will see in the database if table is already available, then it will modify according to the our entity, otherwise it will keep that if that is same. If we give here a create, that means it will drop that table and again it will create. Then next here we have to give this second level cache. So cache dot second level cache and this cache dot region dot factory underscore class. So as we have discussed, so we have to, if you want to enable the second level cache, we have to give these properties in the Hibernate dot configuration dot xml, and you will find this Hibernate dot configuration dot xml code in the description. I will give link in the description. From there you can copy this. So this is about Hibernate dot configuration. Now XML file is done. Now let's right click on this package, go to the new, go to the class. Here we will create one entity called employee. I will create employee in the test package com.test.entity entity. So is this employee, we have to write here a private integer employee ID, then private string emp name. The next is a private string dpt department. I will take @id as this employee ID as the primary key, and here @generated value strategy equals to identity, and at that entity at that table. If you want to give the table name, I will give here as emp tab. At the data, as we have added a long box, so getter and setter. At that all asks constructor, at that no asks constructor, and also as we have discussed here strategy. So second level cache we must specify the caching strategy. So I will use this only read only strategy here. So we have to add this to annotation above the entity. Here I will add here a cache, and we have to import Ctrl Shift O. Read only. Let's save this. Yes. Now this is entity is now done. Next thing what you have to do is go to the right click on this, go to the new, go to the class. Here we will create Hibernate util in the util package com.test.util. So inside this I have already written here the code of this. Let me copy this, go here, and let's save this. So here you can see this is a session factory. Then we have to create a configuration object, then cfg.configuration. Here we have to give the configuration xml configuration file name, then add annotated class. Here we have to give the entity class name, then here factory, so configuration.build session factory. Then we'll create a method for session factory, that is get session factory, and for the session, that is get session. So we have created here three object: configuration, session factory, and session that will be required. So first what we have done, we have created this entity employee, then we have written this Hibernate util, and also we have written Hibernate configuration XML. Now next thing go to the app.java. Here let me delete this. First thing what we'll do, before here what we'll do, we'll create a table and we'll insert data into that. So first of all, get session factory. So session factory equals to hibernate util dot get session factory. Control Shift O for importing session factory, was dot hibernate dot session factory. Then get session object, then sc session ses equals to hibernate util dot get session, Control Shift O, origin dot hibernate dot session. Then I will be using here try with resources. So if you didn't have Java 9 or above version, you will not able to use this try with resources. So make sure that you are using the Java 9 and above versions. So that's why I added this Maven compiler plugin, and I have taken here 1.9. So in the app.java, let's go here, then create an employee object. First we'll insert data. So employee emp equals to new employee so emp dot set name Sam and emp dot set department QA. Let's say here we will not require to set the employee ID, because as we have given here at the generated value, so it will be auto incremented and auto generated. So in the app.java we have created the object. Now what you have to do is begin the transaction. So session dot begin transaction. Next, save the object in the database. So session dot save, we have to give the amp. Then commit. So session dot get transaction dot commit, so it will save. So this is done. Now let us check. So press Ctrl F11, run as a Java application. Let us see what will happen. It should save us the record, employee record. First of all, it will see whether the table is present or not. Then it will create a table. Here you can see table is created. Then it will insert the value into table. It will see first if table is there. The table is not there, so that's why it is creating the table. After that, it will insert the data. You can see that the queries are coming. Now here if I refresh here, you will able to see AMP tab. Let's click on here and you will find that one QA Sam is coming. So we have successfully inserted the data. Now it's time to see the how second level cache is working. So go to the class. Here I will create one test, and same we will require here session factory and session object. So let me copy this, go to the test, and I will create here a main method, control space enter, and in that I will paste here. Now here we'll see the example of how second level 2 cache is used here. So what I will do is now get the emp object, emp data. So employee emp equals to session dot get. Here we have to give the entity. What is the entity? Employee dot class and serial ID. As we have only one record, so I will give here a 1. Now sys out emp. So what will happen internally? This will be record will become and it will be stored into L1 and L2 cache. Right, now let me execute this, Control F11. Here you will find that select query will be executed and you will find this data, right? So this data is coming. Now next thing what I will do is Control Alt down, I will copy this employee 1. So now we are again fetching the data. now what happen, it will see in the L1 cache. What will happen, it will see in the L1 cache and it will return data from there. It will see in the level 1 cache, level 1, in the level 1 cache this data is already there, so it will not create the select query. It will not execute select query separately for this. Only first time select query will be executed. Only for first time it will be select query will be executed. Then for next fetching it will be see the data whether it is available in L1 cache. If there is available, then it will return from L1 cache. So let's save this, Control F11. If I execute this, here you can see only one time select query is executing and we are getting the data. So for next time fetching it will collect the data into from the L1 cache. Now I will clear the data from the L1 cache. So session dot, we have a special method, this evcit. So remove the instance from the session cache, that is from the L1 cache. L1 cache is also known as session cache. So here you can see remove this instance from the session cache. That means from the L1 cache we will remove this instance. So it is removed. It is removed from the L1 cache. So there are two cache, L1 and L2. L1 is there, L2 is there. So as first time we are executing, so select query will become and the data will be gone to L1 as also to L2. Then next time, so it will see in the L1 cache, is the data is already available? Yes, data is already available. So it will be written here and it will not hit the database. It will come directly from L1. Now we are using this session.avc. So AMP object, whatever EMP object is coming, that will be emptied from L1 cache, but it will not be emptied from L2 cache. It will be there in the L2 cache. So we are only removing it from the L1 cache. So it will be removed from here. Now if I again use this, so let me copy this and paste here. I will give emp2. Then what will happen? It will get from the L2 cache. It will check first of all. It will check in L1 cache. So as we have remove emp from L1, so it will not get the record from L1, then it will see in the L2 cache. So as we have not erased the record from the L2 cache, so that record will be in the L2 cache, right? So it will see in the L2 cache. Then after that, after seeing in the L2 cache, it will again copy that data into L1 cache. So let me explain here. L1, L2, and we have only here EMP. So there is no EMP in the L1 as we have removed here. Then after this we are fetching the data, we are trying to fetch that. So it will see in the L1, EMP is not there. It will see in the L2. So in the L2 the data is present, so it will copy that data into L1 and we will get that data here and we will print. So here no select query will be executed. It will only take here from the L2, it will be copied into L1 and it will come here. So there will be no select query. Only first time the select query will be executed. So now let me execute this. Control Shift, Control F11. So here we can see only first time. So if I go to the console, only first time the query is executing. So if I explain this, so only first time it will be executed. Then after second request it will carry this from the L1 cache, As we are remove this employee into L1 cache, it will be taken from the L2 cache and copied into L1 cache. So there will be no select query. It will be again taken from the L2 cache, right? So only first time here the query is executing. That means we are here using the L2 cache, right? Now what I will do, I will remove this employee object from both the L1 and also L2 cache. So this will be for removing from the L1 cache and also cache equal to, I will use here a factory dot get cache, control shift O for importing, and import orget hibernate dot cache. And now I will do cache dot clear. Here cache dot what here evict all. This is a method for the L2 cache, and also we can clear by session dot clear. And again I will copy this, paste here emp3. So now what will happen, we are clearing from the L1 cache also, we are clearing from the L2 cache also. Now what will happen, it will see whether the object is present in L1 cache. No, it will see whether the object is present in L2 cache. It will not find in L1 and L2 cache. Then after that it will hit the database. That means now the select query will be executed. So L1 cache is there, L2 cache is there, and there is a database. So after this session dot clear, emp from the L1 cache will be destroyed, emp from the L2 cache also will be destroyed. Then it will see there is no object emp in L1 and L2 cache also. Then it will hit directly to the database and select query will be executed. So now let's see the control F11 by running this. You will understand now. So here we can see 2 times select query is executed. So let me explain this. So first time select will be executed. Now it will taken from the L1 cache. Then we have removed from the L1 cache. Then we are again fetching the data. So it will come from L2 to L1. Then we are getting select query is not executing up to this. Then we are clearing L1 cache also, then L2 cache also. So there will be no data. So that's why select query will be executed again. So select query will be executed again and we are getting the data. So this is the method used for clearing the L2 cache, and this is for L1 cache. So this is the example of L2 cache. So if you like this video, you can hit like button and subscribe to our channel, and you will find the whatever code I have written here in the description.